So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. A lot has happened in the Senator Natasha case. I know it's been a long time since we spoke about it here, but yes, we have got some updates. I bet many of us should have an idea about this story, but just a brief recap. Senator Natasha Akpoti is the senator representing the people of Kogi Central. She is one of the 4 female senators in Nigeria in a Senate with 105 men. This whole thing came public when sometime in February this year, Senator Natasha granted an interview to media outlet Arise TV, where she accused the Senate President of sexual harassment, claiming that he made inappropriate advances towards her, including telling her that she would enjoy a whole lot if she took care of him, and squeezing her palms in a seductive manner. He told her that they should spend quality time together. Senator Natasha claims that she tried to manage it and keep it to herself, as many Nigerian women are taught to. But then, as a result of her refusal, the Senate President began frustrating her legislative efforts, deliberately blocking her from participating in meaningful Senate proceedings. There are a ton of videos that we have done covering all of that. I'm going to leave the links down in the description box if you want to get the full gist. So after that interview, her statements were immediately followed up with a formal petition which was presented to the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges. That petition was immediately dismissed on procedural grounds. In law, when you say a case was dismissed on procedural grounds, it means the substance of the case was not heard or deliberated, but the form at which it came thwarted the whole petition. So it was dismissed on form rather than of substance. So rather than investigate these serious allegations, the Senate committee instead suspended Senator Natasha for 6 months, and they claims that that suspension was as a result of misconduct and unparliamentary behavior. And speaking out of turn, the suspension came with a withdrawal of her salary, benefits, office staff and access, as well as her security detail. The sequence of events that followed was nothing short of shocking. From nowhere in the history of Nigeria, a recall process to withdraw Senator Natasha permanently from the Senate was initiated, but it failed, and her people came out en masse to say, what is recall? This was not what they told us. So they told us to come out with our voters card for empowerment, people empowerment program. We do not want to recall our senator. She didn't do anything. Secondly, she organized a home calling to come and connect with her people. And in less than 24 hours after that flyer made it out, the police in Kogi State issued an order that gatherings in the state is hereby suspended. The roads were blocked and barricaded to ensure that she does not get access to her people. And just like Van Damme, just like Jet Li, Senator Natasha pulled the metrics and came with a helicopter. That plan was once again thwarted. The Senate President's wife filed 2 defamation suits against her, demanding a whopping 350 billion naira in damages. And then there were nationwide protests all over the country that broke, many of which were suspected to have been sponsored. As though all of these were not enough, some things began happening that really made the whole thing look really shitty. Acting on the complaints of the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, the federal government, through the Attorney General of the Federation, instituted 2 separate criminal trials against Senator Natasha. The first for criminal defamation under the Criminal Code, and the second for cyber crimes under the Cyber Crimes Act. So there was a 6-count charge preferred against her under the Criminal Code for criminal defamation, and on the other hand, there was a 3-count charge preferred against her under the Cyber Crimes Act. These 6 counts could lead her to being jailed, imprisoned for many years, in addition to a hefty fine imposed. There claims that this was for a statement that she made alleging that the Senate president and the former governor were after her life. So the court hearing began for the case of the criminal defamation, and Senator Natasha was docked. She took her plea. She pleaded not guilty, of course. And would you believe that after her arraignment, the federal government lawyer asked to remand Senator Natasha in prison custody? They objected the bail application that her counsel proposed. Imagine, for defamation, for an offense of defamation in quotes, the federal government was proposing that Senator Natasha should not be granted bail. She should be locked up in prison and attend her trial from prison. Is this persecution or prosecution? Because even in sane countries, defamation should not even have any business coming under criminal charges. It should typically be a civil case. So you can imagine a whole representative of the Attorney General of the Federation proposing that a sitting senator be denied bail for an offense that is not aggressive, that is not violent, where there is no risk or danger of harming anybody. That is to tell you how far this is going. Thankfully, the judge knew better, and he declined that proposal from the prosecution, saying that defamation is a billable offense and recognizing that the senator is not or was not a flight risk. So that judge, because this case of criminal defamation was filed at the High Court. So High Court judges are called judges, not justices. Justices are from the Supreme Court, and the Federal High Court are called justices. So this High Court judge declined that proposition and granted Senator Natasha bail without any cost, based on self-recognition. So she walked out after that day's sitting. Would you believe that in the other case as well, the cyber crimes case, that one was initiated at the Federal High Court, the federal government also opposed her bail request, telling the court that Senator Natasha is a flight risk, meaning she has the propensity of running away. Can you imagine that? That she should be confined to prison. It's almost like somebody is anxious to see her dehumanized and suffer, to see her locked up amongst common thieves in prison for defamation. Where the, let me tell you the irony of it all. The complainant, the person that so-called brought this complaint to the police, Yahaya Bello, has a 19 count, 19 count felony charge of criminal breach of trust and money laundering of over 110 billion naira. That case is ongoing and still pending with the EFCC, and he is not remanded. He is walking free. He was granted bail for an offense so severe. Rather, last month on his birthday, the federal government of Nigeria, through the presidency, issued an official birthday greeting to celebrate him, commending him as a trailblazer for the youth and a visionary leader, while the federal government is trying to lock up a sitting senator and confine her to prison because of defamation. Wonders shall never end. No, they can never end. But to God be the glory, if I can put it that way. This justice was just as sensible as the judge at the High Court. He declined that proposal, saying that there was absolutely no justification to deny Senator Natasha bail. So bail was granted with a 50 million naira bail bond. The second development that has made this whole episode look very, very disturbing is how Senator Natasha's family home has been attacked and vandalized multiple times since this issue began. First was on the 16th of April, where armed men with guns and cutlasses attacked Senator Natasha's family home there in Kogi State. Only 2 months later, on the 17th of July, armed men once again attacked and vandalized her home. And people are wondering, how come it is now that this whole thing started that these urchins suddenly found interest in her house or suddenly found out where her family home is? Is it that they did not know before? What is going on here? So while all of these were going on, the suspension, the attacks, criminal charges, Senator Natasha had filed a suit at the Federal High Court challenging her suspension from the Senate and claiming that the suspension was 1. Violated her right of fair hearing, 2. Denied her constituents representation at the Senate, and 3. Was politically motivated as a retaliation for the accusations that she made against the Senate president, that it was just disguised as sitting position, but it was retribution. And so the Justice of the Federal High Court, hearing the matter, issued a gag order to all the parties involved, Senator Natasha, Senate President Akpabio, and even their counsel, barring them from speaking publicly about the matter. No media interviews, no social media posts, no public comments. Everybody stay quiet about it until the determination of this case. But unfortunately, Senator Natasha flouted this court order by this apology post that she made on Facebook. When I first heard that Senator Natasha had issued an apology to the Senate President, I was like, seriously? Let us read this apology letter together. From the desk of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Dear distinguished Senate President Godswill Akpabio, it is with the deepest sarcasm and utmost theatrical regret that I tender this apology for the grievous crime of possessing dignity and self-respect in your most exalted presence. This woman, there are some things that you should not chew because you cannot spit it out, you cannot swallow it. It will hook you for neck. I have reflected extensively on my unforgivable failure to recognize that legislative success in certain quarters is apparently not earned through merit, but through the ancient act of compliance of the very personal kind. Oh, how remiss of me not to understand that my refusal to indulge your requests was not merely a personal choice, but a constitutional violation of the unwritten laws of certain men's entitlements. Truly, I must apologize for prioritizing competence over capitulation, vision over vanity, and the people's mandate over private dinners behind closed doors. Oh my God. I now realize that the catastrophic consequences of my actions, legislation delayed, tempers fled, and the tragic bruising of egos so large that they require their own postcodes for this disruption to the natural order of quid pro quo, I bow my head in fictional shame. Please find it in your magnanimous heart, somewhere buried deep beneath layers of entitlement, to forgive this stubborn woman who mistakenly believed that her seat in the Senate was earned through elections, not erections. I remain yours in eternal resistance, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, unafraid, unbought, and unbroken. This apology came when there was so much pressure internally and externally on Senator Natasha to just bury the hatchet and apologize to Senate President Godswill. So this was the apology letter that she posted on Instagram and on Facebook. Now the court saw this post as a violation of its earlier order to stay gagged, and the court has now held her in civil contempt. So in a judgment that it delivered a few days ago, the presiding justice, Justice Binta Yako, found Senator Natasha liable in civil contempt and slammed her with a 5 million naira fine, as well as an order to publish a formal apology in 2 national newspapers and on her Facebook page within 7 days. But this is not the only thing that has happened. Something history-worthy is about to happen at the Senate, and in our next video we will delve into that. Stay glued. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, you are seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. Drop all your comments down in the comment section and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl, Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.